9 o'clock, so let's call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I think I'm the prayer today. So please join me. I like for my prayer. I'm going to read the text of an old hymn, "Praise Ye the Lord." So you can join me in prayer. Praise to the Lord, the Almighty, the King of creation. O my soul, praise Him, for He is your health and salvation. Come, all who hear now, to His temple draw near. Join me in glad adoration. Praise to the Lord above all things, so wondrously reigning, sheltering you under His wings and so gently sustaining. Have you not seen all that is needful has been sent by His gracious ordaining? Praise to the Lord, who will prosper your work and defend you. Surely His goodness and mercy shall daily attend you. Ponder anew what the Almighty can do, if with His love He befriends you. Praise to the Lord, O let all that is in me adore Him. All that has life and breath, come now with praises before Him. Let the amen sound from His people again, gladly forever adore Him.
Amen. Thank you, Mike.
And then we'll have the roll call. Commissioner Smith, Mr. Steven here, Commissioner Dove, and we have two absents. Commissioner Culberson is testifying, I believe, in Topeka on the EMS bill. Is that correct?
It's the 911.
The 911 bill?
Yeah, it's the 911. It's not EMS. It's emergency communications.
Yeah.
So, yes, he's testifying this morning on that.
And do you know what committee that is?
Taxation.
Tax in the Senate?
Yes.
Okay. And then Commissioner Reed is absent. So we'll move on to the administrative business. The county clerk report. Is she here?
Any public comment?
She's not here. Public comment. Is there anyone that wishes to speak? Come forward. You have 5 minutes. And could you please give your name and your address?
Good morning. My name is Joshua Malloy. I live at 11944 Walcott Road here in Leavenworth County.
Welcome.
So I've watched a few of these meetings on YouTube. Actually, I think it's pretty slick because I have rotating shift work, so it's very rare for me to be able to be here during business hours. So it's nice to be able to keep up with what's going on in the county and hearing it from you leaders. One of the common themes that I've gotten from listening to all these meetings and some of the constituents coming up is the rise in property taxes. Now, I'm a relatively new resident. I moved down here from Alaska 2 years ago. I came to this area because of a job opportunity. I actually work for the civil service, the federal civil service. I actually work on the Missouri side, but chose to live on the Kansas side. A lot of my coworkers, a lot of my friends, they live over in Jackson County, Platte County, Clay County. There's a couple who live down in Johnson County. I think I'm the only one who actually lives in Leavenworth County. But I chose to live here. I did the research, and I kind of like the constituents out here. I find folks are quite friendly. I like the little hole-in-the-wall spots that you can get a nice meal at. Pullman's Place downtown. Bill's on 4th, which just opened up here, I think it was last year. Things like that. I kind of appreciate that. And I feel the community has actually embraced myself and my better half. I work on the Missouri side, but I actually do a lot of my play and life type stuff over here in Leavenworth County. You'll see me a lot, oftentimes, over at Crown Lanes in Leavenworth because I'm an avid bowler. With regards to the property taxes, I don't know. I think something like that is pretty universal. We had those similar problems up in Alaska. Before Alaska, I lived in Massachusetts, high tax state. So I think these types of challenges are pretty universal, and I don't know what the fix is for it. I will say that I heard floated around maybe an income tax of 1% to help fill the gaps in the budget so that we can pay our bills, if you will. Now, I'm pretty averse to taxes myself, but if in fact the commissioners or the people who prepare the budgets can actually show, hey, if we have 1% coming in from everybody who works and lives here in the county, this is what it's going to go to. I think I could have some buy-in to that. I would also say that it may be prudent to ask for a little bit more than what you think you need, because the cost of everything continues to kind of go up. And so if, in fact, you were to go the income tax route, instead of 1%, may I propose maybe, say, 2%, but then put a end date, a sunset on it. Say, for the next 10 years, we're going to collect 2% or 1.5%, and this is what it's going to go to. And then that gives all of your individual departments some time to adjust for that reality of having this boon of money that's going to be coming in. And if need be, if, say it's a 10-year plan, they can say in 10 years we may need to let go of 1 or 2 people, and that gives employees and gives families time to adjust to that new reality rather than what we're at right now. It seems like year to year they're fighting tooth and nail to keep budgets just stable, if you will. So that's just my feedback. Just wanted to provide that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Administrative business. Commissioners?
Have anything?
Okay. Just a house cleaning. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to kind of try to extend, and we'll probably have to say this when all the commissioners are here, but my intent as chair is that I will rotate to each commissioner around the bend as we're having discussion, so you won't have to look at me to be recognized because I'll be coming back to you. And if you have something to say, just jump in. I'll keep going around the horn until all the discussion and comments have been made. So that takes care of having to be recognized. So I think, Mike, you kind of started that. I'm just going to make it a little more formalized.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, I did have one thing. In previous years that we've had tomorrow is the anniversary of Roe versus Wade, and in previous years we passed county resolutions and proclamations on Roe versus Wade. So today I just had a little statement from myself that is actually a statement by Henry Hyde, the late Henry Hyde. If you recall the Hyde Amendment, that prohibits funding on the federal level for abortion in the Medicaid program. That's been in place for over 50 years. But I'm going to read a statement that he made when they were debating that Hyde Amendment. I believe nothing in this world of wonders is more beautiful than the innocence of a child. We risk our souls, we risk our humanity when we trifle with the innocence or demean it or brutalize it. We need more caring and less killing. The supporters of abortion on demand have exercised an amazing capacity for self-deception by detaching themselves from any sympathy whatsoever for the unborn child. That little almost born infant struggling to live is a member of the human family. And abortion is a lethal assault on the very idea of human rights and destroys, along with the defenseless baby, the moral foundation of our democracy. It isn't just the babies that are dying for the sin of being unwanted or being handicapped or being malformed. We are dying, and not for the darkness, but for the cold. The coldness of self-brutalization that shifts the sensibilities and deadens our conscience and causes us to think of this unspeakable act as an act of compassion. This is a debate about the understanding of human dignity. What does it mean to be human? Our moment in history is marked by a moral conflict between the culture of death and the culture of life. And today, here and now, we must choose sides. Each will be called to render an account for what they have done or what they have not done. Which side will you choose? I thought that statement by Henry Hyde is very good. So we'll move ahead. Thank you very much for letting me read that. Consent agenda.
Make a motion we approve the consent agenda as published.
Second? Okay, voting. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, formal action, consider a motion to establish a transient guest tax.
Commissioners, what you have before you is 2 sample resolutions for you to consider. In December, the Commission asked that staff come forward with a transient guest tax option for consideration. So that is what I have done. For those that are watching, a transient guest tax is a tax that is enacted by a local government on short-term rentals and hotel stays. I've included a list in the packet of all the cities and counties that have enacted it and the percentages that they enact. Leavenworth County does not currently have one. And so we have 2 options to look at. The Commission, if they chooses, could enact I believe it's regular resolution number 5, where you would impose a 2% transient guest tax that's paid for by those who rent these hotel rooms or short-term rentals, and the funds generated from said tax would then be used for convention and tourism per state statute. However, the statutes are not uniform, and a number of communities throughout the state have elected to do charter ordinances for cities or charter resolutions for counties, in which they adopt a higher percentage and expand the use of said tax. So I have a sample charter resolution for consideration here where I picked a 6% transient guest tax. You could change the percentage on that, and expanded the use per direction from the Commission to look at conventions and tourism and economic development related thereto for consideration. I do need to note that a charter resolution would require 4 members or 2/3 of this body in order to approve it. The process is different in that after approval, you publish it 2 times, once each week, and then wait 60 days to see if there's a referendum before it goes into effect. So with that, I'm open for questions.
Misty, on the 3/4, Chair, does that mean people not present too, or does that mean the people that are present at the meeting?
It would take a total of 4 commissioners to pass this, so today you would not be able to pass a charter resolution.
And basically, this is just a user fee. I mean, this is avoiding hitting property tax, what we were just hearing about, and something like that. So if you use this service and you're out of the county or out of the state, whatever, then other people are paying for our economic things that we're trying to get done in Leavenworth County. Am I reading that right?
That is correct, and you will see, if you're looking at it, like there's a lot of communities throughout Kansas that have enacted it and then dedicate the funds to help grow the county, their economic development, and those related to tourism and conventions in the county to bring in more visitors, which then, in turns, you'd get more of a transient guest tax and hopefully more sales tax in general in the community.
And the alternative would be we'd have to have property tax, which I would not do. I will not go up on the mill levy, never have, except for the roof falling. So this looks like the better way to try to handle this. I know we can't vote on it today, but I've always been in favor of user fee and let other people outside our area pay for it.
I just make a motion that we table this until we have the next meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a motion to table the guest tax to next week where we have a full complement of commissioners voting.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. So we'll move on to presentations and discussion items. We're going to do quarterly reports. Actually, that's kind of out of order. We usually do the presentations at the end, correct?
This is the end.
We're going to have. Oh, is this the next part?
You're quick.
Well, we're going to do the quarterly reports first, right?
Those
I'll just do
are
that.
part of the presentation to discuss.
Let's go ahead and talk about solid waste.
Good morning.
Let's not talk in too much detail about it.
You guys are just dying to talk trash. So.
Hey, Tammy, they talk trash up here all the time, so don't worry about it.
Excuse me.
This is my year-end report for 2025. In January, I just go over my totals for the previous year. The weather hasn't been bad, so we were up 1,000 tons over the last year. Because of the weather, tire tonnage was also up by a ton. Special waste was 35 tons over the last year, but that'll end. The city of Leavenworth was bringing their grit to us when they were actually supposed to be taking it to waste management. So they're no longer able to bring their grit to us unless they put us down on their application. Cleanup is up 125 residents and 73 tons. That's the residential cleanups that Jeff promotes. All permits are up to date. Household hazardous waste appointments were down by 24. Recycling, what we get paid for was down except for car batteries. What we pay for was up. This year I hope to get more training in other than what is just required by KDHE. And then Brunson did a great job of enclosing C building, and Aaron did a good job of facilitating that. And we have received a check from KDHE's portion of the grant. And I attached a picture of the building so you can see how nice it looks if you don't make it out my way.
So, are there questions?
Do we have an incident down there this week, or last couple of weeks?
Yeah, Commissioners, yes, we did have an incident down there, but it's the police are handling it. So.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Can you elaborate, just for the public, when they can come and have the one free time per year?
Sure. They can choose the day that they want to come, any day we're open, and just present their ID. We have a checkoff list that we get from the appraiser's office to make sure that that's not been used. It's good for 1 calendar year. So that started over January 1 for 2026.
So if you need to do yard cleanup at your house, you can come one time and you get in for free. So we sure would like people to access that rather than dump it in the ditch.
Oh, they have been.
Dump it in the ditch.
Yeah, which way were you answering that time? You're coming down there, I hope.
Is there?
Do you have a question, Commissioner Duff?
Yes, I do. Is there a number of times, are they limited as to once a year, once a quarter? As how many
For
times
their free one,
Yes,
it's 1 per calendar year.
1 per calendar year.
Correct.
And that is
2 tons or less.
2 tons, okay, 2 tons or less.
Yes.
And that's for only Leavenworth County residents, or is that?
Correct.
Okay. Are individuals charged if they want to bring it in, and and they cannot supply identification for being a Leavenworth County resident?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And you have the normal fee would be what? If you weren't getting your free?
It depends on the material. If it's just standard kitchen trash, the minimum charge is $10, and then it's just prorated up to $68 a ton, depending on what you leave us. Construction material, carpet, tile, lumber, building material is $20 minimum charge, and it's prorated up to the $68 as well, depending on how much you leave us.
So what about like halogen lights, batteries, that kind of thing?
Those we recycle for free for Leavenworth County residents, non-businesses.
Okay. So hopefully everybody hears that.
That's a good
so thank you for coming, and you usually ask that the folks give a joke, but we won't require.
I know, and I had one for you.
Yeah, we have one from Mike too. Go ahead.
Maybe next time.
Next time, I promise. I'll write it down.
Have a good
Thank
morning.
you.
Thank you, Danny.
Human resources.
Good morning.
Morning.
With it being a year end 2025, I have the full 3 years of data for our turnover since we started tracking metrics, for our head count, arrivals, departures, turnover, and average tenure. So we have 3 full years of data behind us now. And you can see that we're pretty consistent in what we do. There's not been really any big swings. We did have 96 departures in 2025. The top three reasons for that was 32% of better pay and benefits, 25% was our choice, and 17% was unhappy with the line of work. And we talked about that last quarter, where people come into EMS or the Sheriff's Department and they have one idea of the work, and that's not what they decide to do. So that doesn't have really anything reflective on us, but they have to figure out what they like to do and what works with them. The top three departments are exactly the same as last quarter. 26% of turnover is coming from the Sheriff's Office, 26% from Public Works, and 11% from EMS.
So in the Sheriff's Office one, sorry to interrupt,
That's
but digging down into that a little deeper, what percent was based on salary concerns for that 26%?
I don't have that broken down by department.
Okay.
I could have that data. I just don't have it in front of us right now.
Yeah,
So-
could you get that for us? Because we're always trying to see if we're always trying to keep up with the Johnson
So of all
County.
of the turnover in the Sheriff's Department, what were their reasons?
Right.
Okay, yeah, I can get that for you.
Hey,
So-
Commissioners, just, to be, I guess, for a little more background on that, those are also the three largest employer areas in the county. So the Sheriff, Public Works, and EMS have the most employees. That's why they're that percentage of our turnover. That's not the percentage of their staff turning over. That's the percentage of turnovers. So 26% of the turnovers that we had came from Sheriff, 26 for Public Works. Well, they also have the most number of employees.
Correct.
Large
Thank you for
large
clarifying that.
departments.
Yes, correct. So yes, they did not have a 32 or a 26% turnover in their area. Just 26% of the overall departures came from that department. Correct. I know, Commissioner Stephen, you asked in the past about how we're doing compared to overall in the nation and in the state, and so I was able to get some data. It's not always completely accurate at the end of the year because it's based on how employers report that data in. But they did report that the national average for 2025, and I made a typo on here, it should say public and private sector together, averaged 14%. And they usually only include the voluntary separations. Well, that's the people, they call it regrettable, people that left that would have been stayed. So they voluntarily left their position to go somewhere else. So of those, the national average was 14%. In Kansas, the public sector reported an annual voluntary attrition anywhere, employers came in ranging from anywhere from 10% to 20% was the highest. So if you look at just our voluntary attrition, we were at 16%. So we're right in the middle. So I just wanted to give you some numbers on that so as you can see where.
Do you feel like some of our adjustments on wages have made a difference in those rates, especially in EMS? I'm thinking EMS.
I would say that Jamie has seen some improvement on retention with the raises that were put in last year, and then Public Works just implemented their new program, and so we are in the process of seeing how that's going to play out. All those folks just were added to that plan in December, so they're just now starting to go through that progression. So I hopefully we'll have some more data later this year on his plan and how that has helped with his team.
How many folks have been added to that program, Jamie's program?
How many new hires has he had? I can get that information for you as well. So I have the total number of hires that we had last year, but I don't know. But have it in front of me broken down by department.
All right, thank you.
And for safety metrics and workers' comp claim, I put that this was revised. The last quarter, the numbers were a little lower, and so it's just because there was there was a field not checked in the report that I had, but I wanted to go over this. So for 2025, we did end up with 39 workers' comp claims. We had a few more claims than the previous year, but the cost was way lower. So they were very minor claims. That poison ivy that we had last summer took a toll on that one. So, but smaller claims, and so we did spend a lot less money there. Our new clinic opened on October 1st through ModRN, and so Since then, we've had 303 consults, so doctor's visits that have gone through from our employees in the last 3 months of the year. And that does not include all of the onboarding that they did. They did touch base with every employee in addition to that. 44 biometric screenings were completed in the month of December. We did receive a $350,000 credit on our bill from Blue Cross Blue Shield in October for implementing this clinic through Modern.
Excuse me, how much?
$350,000.
Thank you.
So Blue Cross Blue Shield gave us a credit on our bill in October for implementing this program for a year.
It's a win-win for everybody. They get to get seen, and they have to wait for a doctor, and the county gets a refund back on because we put this in place. I see this being very common or starting to be looked at larger organizations. So I think this is a thing that staff and everybody put together that really is helping everybody in so many different ways.
Still receiving very positive feedback from the employees that have gone over there and utilized the service. So.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Lawfrey, just for the public, can you kind of go through what the county's implemented here?
Yes. So, Commissioners, really 2 years ago, we started looking at the potential to provide a wellness clinic for staff and for those on our health insurance. During our bidding process for our health insurance this year, when we went out for bid, we discussed this with the providers that we were working with. When Blue Cross Blue Shield came in with the lowest bid, our broker, Ben with Bucati, was able to negotiate with them to fund the clinic for us the first year. So they provided a $350,000 credit for us to get the clinic up and running and to fund it for 1 year so that we could see what the impact is on our usage on our health insurance, which will hopefully help Blue Cross Blue Shield and help us.
Right.
So that's what it's for. As you can see, we're having pretty good luck with it, and I think that'll continue to go as people find out how easy it is to use and how accessible you can set an appointment with a text message. That's super nice, and they will call you back on weekends, and it's literally 24/7 access to a nurse. So I think that'll continue to help us with our experience on our health insurance. Time will tell, and so we'll see at the end of the year what our renewal looks like with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Hopefully, because of the clinic, it will help us to keep that renewal low, and we'll be able to continue to fund it through the savings that we have. So it's been a great program, well received, and I hope we can continue it if things work the way we're planning.
I've heard nothing but good things about it from the employees.
So you're doing the same thing. That's great. That's 303 visits in the first 3 months. Just getting the word out that did not go through Blue Cross Blue Shield. So that those did not go through our insurance, right? Those are just.
Right.
And those would have been like the more expensive ER visits or urgent care visits that we avoided. So those are very expensive on our insurance claims that we were able to avoid. So it's a win-win. It helps the employees and the people on our health insurance to have better access to good health care, but it also helps the county on saving, and that's how we hope to be able to fund it ongoing.
Yep. Very good.
Now that we are getting up and running and getting a good relationship with the doctors and nurses over there as well, our goal is to transition some of our workers' comp care over to them as well, so that our employees wouldn't have to travel all the way to Amberwell to be seen for something
Right.
minor.
Yep.
Upcoming things for this year, we are going to focus on some financial wellness, just because that is part of our overall health for our employees and what's going on in the world. So Mark and I have talked about having Nationwide come in and do some, like lunch and learns, some different avenues for helping to learn how to budget or how to live in this economy, and just some ideas and just some different sessions or classes that employees can come in and participate in. So those will be coming over the next quarter. Mark and I are continuing to work on retention interviews. So I got very sick in December, and so those got put on hold a little bit, but we do have the template ready, and we're ready to start. We're going to work with our department heads first and kind of go through that, and then start tackling our departments and talking to people about what we do that's great and what makes them stay.
Yeah, there are questions.
Oh, no. Good job.
Commissioners, I wanted to make just one follow-up comment on the stats. So our turnover percentages are pretty consistent. We haven't seen a big spike or decrease throughout the 3 years that we started tracking this. But the one thing I did want to point out is that last column on the matrix that Monica had presented, and that's the average tenure. So we've dropped nearly a year in tenure in our employees in that 3-year time. And that's, so while we don't have a lot more turnover, it's the higher paying, longer tenured employees are what we're tending to see leave at this time. So that's something we really want to keep an eye on.
Right.
We've found in the past that if we could keep people here over 7 years, they usually stayed longer.
Right.
And we've dropped below that 7-year threshold. So something to keep an eye on.
Okay.
Yeah.
The financial literacy part,
Yes.
Wellness sessions, that in my mind I think of the Dave Ramsey course, but what kind of thing, what is that?
I actually have a meeting with Dave Ramsey's assistant tomorrow morning to go over a program that they've done for, and I don't know that we would use it. I don't know if it's a cost effective, just looking at it. But I have a friend, a past coworker that is his benefits consultant, and so she's going through some information with me on how some things that we can potentially offer.
That'd be
for our
great.
employees as well.
That'd be great.
So I'm going to
Need
get a
to go-
cost on that, but
What we're looking at right now nationwide is our, they provide for retirement, our 401, 457 plans. So they offer some free services that they're willing to come and give
They
to
do.
staff. And for them, it's more about what you need to be doing to plan for your retirement, investing in yourself, not relying on Social Security to be your retirement, your only retirement. So those are things that they offer, and they also offer the ability for the employees to meet one-on-one with them. But this is going to be more of a kind of an overall financial wellness. What you need to do, like you go in and get a physical each year, you should be getting a financial physical as well to see where you're at. And the younger you start, the better off you'll be.
That's perfect. That's what I like about Ramsey's Financial Peace University, is that it tells you do plastic surgery,
yeah,
cut up your credit cards.
that's right.
So, is there any other
Just
questions?
utilizing
No,
the
no,
benefits
no.
we already have in place, like having Nationwide, and our EAP has a budgeting and debt management program that we didn't even really know existed. So just using what's already a part of our benefits and just really pushing that and letting our employees benefit from what we have in place.
That's great. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Information systems.
Could I just add one thing? Could we make sure we pull those mics up close to you? Sometimes they're hard to hear, or I'm hard to hear, and whatever you want to say, whichever way you want to do it.
Carries.
Yeah.
We really want to hear you.
Yeah. I have no jokes though today. I'm working on it though.
Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
So the Information System Department, we remain focused on the end of the year quarter, and we focused primarily on 2 pillars: infrastructure, modernization, and cybersecurity resilience. Our staff is working very hard to maintain high service levels while staying ahead of critical industry deadlines like end of life, Windows 11, and Office Standard perpetual licenses. So with that, I'm just going to touch some highlights. We'll start with infrastructure and security. We're currently seeking proposals for remediating the Justice Center server room in coordination with the Sheriff Office and the Leavenworth PD to improve cabling and physical security. So what we're trying to do is we have a server room over in the Justice Center. There's 3 departments in there, the 3 I just named, and all of our equipment is kind of combined on top of each other and intermingled. So physical security is really a risk over there, and so we're trying to get ahead ahead of it before something happens to remediate that. And we plan on having proposals to us by the end of this month. That's our plan. We also have an active cybersecurity assessment underway to identify and mitigate network vulnerabilities as well as cybersecurity vulnerabilities. While the county, we didn't experience any type of cybersecurity events on us as a department. We are actively monitoring regional threats to refine our defense posture, because there were some other regional municipalities that had issues that we're trying to get information to help us refine our cybersecurity posture. Next I want to talk about is software lifestyle management. We're successfully migrating all users to Office 365 and Windows 11. It's an ongoing process because we have to go department to department, and then we have to make sure we have funding to replace the machines and also the software. We also completed a specialized software upgrade to the district judges, district court, and their staff. They had a critical update to a new Judges Edition software that the judges use to conduct their daily business. With that said, from the help desk, we had a total of 647 tickets for the last quarter, and most of those tickets came from, we had 124 from the Sheriff Department, 63 from District Court, and most of those came in the month of October, because October was when we reached end of life for hardware for Windows 10 boxes and also software for Office Standard 2016, 2017, 2019. So our strategic outlook looking forward is to finalize those remaining Windows 11 boxes and updates to Office 365, and immediately act on the results that we're going to get from our network and security assessment to make sure we continue to harden our cybersecurity posture. So we're going to continue to stay vigilant, and we hope that our users do as well. With that, I'm open to questions.
Mr. Smith.
I don't have it. I'm kind of impressed with staying on top of this. Just nowadays, just something you got to do. Are you going to end up like some of the other counties or cities that have found all kind of problems? These numbers that you saw, though, that we see again, are these kind of common? I mean, is this what has been happening for the last year or so, as far as the tickets issued that you need to be addressed and repaired?
Well, there's several reasons for that. One is our email. We separated the Sheriff's Department from our email tenant.
That's right.
We also went from on-premise email to cloud-based email, so that presented issues too. So we got a lot of tickets from people still trying to access their email on the county tenant instead of transitioning off to the sheriff's office tenant. And so we had to work through that, because we still had to carry them as users on our domain,
right,
while they also had their own private email.
I got you. Okay.
Mr. Dove?
Yes, I have a question. Being that we are getting a lot of our emails off of our cell phone, and that cell phone is attached to the county government, is there anything that we should be doing or asking you? Because that's an inroad right into our system.
Well, I would just say to make sure you don't join all your personal email with your county email. Microsoft continues to send you prompts to say, do you want to combine these accounts? And it's real easy to click and say yes. And not that wouldn't work, but now you got all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And so we think we saw from an incident that happened to one of the other cities that there was an issue where that could have caused an incident, because now you're receiving both types of email into one inbox. Okay, and then when if you push on that one that's from your personal email, and it comes up and then it corrupts something that's going on in your work email, then that's a way that you could perhaps get infected. Not the only way, but that's just one way.
Right.
All right. That's it.
Okay. A couple questions on the total number of your tickets. Does that include when all password resets, when people have issues with that? That's a ticket?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We had an issue with lightning power surge protection, and I know I've been through 2 computers now. But is that an issue? Do we have power surge protection on our computers now?
Yes, we do, Commissioner. I haven't seen any computers, especially with the commissioners, that don't have surge protection on them. So all of our server room has it. You have it up. We have it up here. We have it in the Justice Center. So there might be some individual computers where a user is not on the surge protector. But we just have to address that for those departments when we find them.
Okay. So when you're updating, are you kind of looking at that as you're going around and bringing that up to?
Yes, Commissioner.
So another question I had was we made a decision a few months ago on archiving. Every department is supposed to archive. Has that been implemented?
Well, the departments by themselves don't archive when someone leaves. We archive it for a certain amount of time, like those emails, and then the data that they have. So we do archive that. The IS department does.
Okay. Is that in compliance? Does that comply with what we asked?
Yes, Commissioner. But IT is in charge of archiving it and keeps it. An individual department can't go in there and just delete everything. So
Okay.
IT is the safeguard.
Okay, and then the final question for the attorney. When our emails are brought to our phone, and if they are put on us, like Microsoft mixes them, does that then subject all of the rest of our private emails to open records?
I'm going to need some help from IT on this, but I think even if you've combined your account, that doesn't take your private emails and input them into the county's email system. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So they still would be separate.
They are separate. I would just caution, we've seen all of this in the government. If you are doing county business on your private email or private devices, that is subject to an open records request.
All right, but try to keep them divorced.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Any further questions?
I don't know on that.
All right. Thank you very much. Next time we'll expect a joke.
Okay. I'll work on that.
Thank you. Morning, John.
Morning, John.
Well, I'll try to give you the abbreviated version without taking too much of your time. I'll give you the meat and potatoes numbers. Those would be 90 single-family homes in 2025.
Mr. Jacobson, I'm going to have to
Speak up.
Can you hear me now?
I'm really sorry. I have railroad ears.
I'm a very soft-spoken man. try to hunch up on this
All right.
to get you there. Okay, so like I said, the meat and potatoes numbers are this. 90 single-family homes in 2025, which is a slight reduction from the year before. Again, we try to hover around that 100 homes a year being constructed in Leavenworth County and have maintained that for a number of years. 16 ADUs, 183 accessory building permits. Now, these are going to be barns, sheds, pools, all of those types of things. So that number is substantially higher, which means that people are investing in their properties. While you're not building as many this particular year, and again, just slightly less, there is a considerable investment in the properties that exist out there right now, which is a very good sign. We had 146 development cases. 33 of those were plats. We're maintaining about 152. We try to go between 100 and 152 developed lots in Leavenworth County at any given time to make sure that there's room available for builders as they come into the county. As you know, in 2025, we adopted the 2012 IBC and IRC. That was completed at the end of the year and went into effect January 1st of this year. We did a substantial text amendment in our zoning regulations to incorporate a lot of the board orders that have happened over the years and a few more tools for developers and citizens to use to accommodate highest and best use on their property. That, again, went through and was finally adopted at the end of 2025. Comprehensive plan, we did a review of that early in the year of 2025. Gave you the report that we did not recommend any changes to the plan because no big development actions had happened at that time. Development patterns hadn't changed. There was no need to adjust the plan. We'll begin the 2026 review in the first quarter of this year. And then we'll have that recommendation to you by July of this year. One, as you can see through the MARC committees that we sit on, probably the most important MARC committee in 2025 was the MARC Technical Review Committee. We had a substantial time commitment to that. What this does is it sets a population forecast to 2050, and it updates Connected KC to 2050, which in turn allocates funds for things like transportation moving forward. So it's a critical board. That was completed in 2025, began in late 2024. We had a slight increase in SUPs, but these were SUPs that were actually driven from years ago that came to fruition in 2025. So those were large industrial type SUPs, but the number of SUPs really hasn't increased other than those cases. You'll notice that tract splits and BLAs have almost doubled in number. What that says is that people are running out of prime properties to develop, so they're splitting up those properties into smaller sections to develop. So that's kind of the development pattern we're seeing right now. We expect in 2026 we'll have less of those and more single family. And with that, I would answer any questions.
John, one thing. Last few years I've noticed that the single family homes in Leavenworth County is stayed high and gone up quite a bit from what it was for a lot of years. Tends to tell me that people are enjoy moving out in the county and building homes out there, because I always compare to this. Right now I compare it. I know there's other cities and the thing is the Baser. Baser's always got a lot of homes going up or getting ready to. So when you set high like that, which this is a very positive, thing. And I think the other reason is too is because a few years ago your staff brought to us about how to streamline some of these things. And so you didn't have to bring everything to the county commissioners, but things that needed to come that we all decided on. So we'd be able to get people in and out the door and work with them a lot better. So I'm pleased to see these numbers. That's all I have, John.
In the last 3 years, it's went up about 30%.
That's what I thought.
Mr. Dove?
No.
No questions. A couple things. You talked about the Building Codes Committee. Is it fully staffed now?
No. We still have open positions on the Building Codes Committee.
1 or 2 vacancies?
2.
2 vacancies out of, is it 5?
5.
2 out of 5. What's the, when do you expect to get those filled?
Well, hopefully we get enough applicants to get those filled. We haven't been very successful at getting applicants that have the background for that particular board. That particular board is a technical board, requires some knowledge of the code and some knowledge of construction. Okay,
so since we're here and it's a public, can you go over what that building codes, what that committee does?
In essence, what that committee does is it reviews alternate forms of construction. They provide recommendations for code adoption to this council, this committee. That's really the function of that particular board. So they can overrule a building official, which is this case is me. If someone brings in an alternate method and wants me to say that's code compliant, if I refuse that, their option is to appeal to that board. And if that board approves their particular submittal, then it's approved, much like a board of zoning appeals would in a land use situation.
Okay. And we need a couple applicants, and they need to have what kind of specialty skills?
Well, things that are related to code knowledge, inspectors, general contractors, architects, engineers, those types of backgrounds. We don't require everybody to be an architect and engineer, but some background in code and construction is a key component to sitting on that board.
So, so for people watching, we need 2 applicants to round that out.
Yeah, they will need to be able to evaluate the construction system before them. That's why there's a requirement for that type of experience.
And if someone is interested, they should reach out to your office?
Absolutely, reach out to our office or send us an email. We will follow up.
And that's the Planning and Zoning Office?
Planning and Zoning Department, yes.
John, Chairman, don't you put out notices every once in a while that we have a need for that?
We do. We continually do that when we have vacancies.
Does it go out through our web, or how do you?
Normally, it's on our website. Yes.
Okay.
So maybe that's something the commissioners, when we get everybody here, we can ask people to identify. We need to get those filled.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
John, is there, are we in line with other counties as far as the compensation package for those individuals?
I believe we are. I think we're hitting the average of most of what we see around from every staff point. Yeah, I think we generally have a pretty happy staff that feel like they're compensated adequately for the job that they do.
Okay, all right.
That all? Yep. Okay. Let's see. Comprehensive plan. We had it written in, the last time was 2008, and then they updated it in 2021, I think, or 20 or 21. We're doing yearly reviews. When do you anticipate we're going to need to completely update that plan again?
Well, in my view, the update of a plan is normally driven by a big employer, big transportation changes, big development changes in your community. So whether that's 10 years or 20 years, when you outgrow that plan, it's going to become evident in those yearly reviews. So unless you have big, you have a big change in development pattern, you have a big change in employer, you're not going to see a large change in that plan. Normally, comprehensive plans are good for 10 to 20 years. The last one you had was 20 years.
All right. So at this point, as far as you're concerned, our current plan is very operative, and
I think it is for now. I think we have some changes on the horizon that may affect that plan, namely what's going to happen in and around Legends. That could have an impact. When and if we get a plan for that, we'll react to it in that review.
Okay.
But, Chairman, but right now we review every year.
We review every year.
So we're really staying on top of it unless there's a major issue comes up. So that way we stay on top of it. I've known a lot of other places, cities, they don't review for 10 or 20 years, and all of a sudden they get stuck with a $200,000 bill.
As long as I'm here, you will review every year.
Okay, good.
And that is the practice. Since we readopted this one, we've been doing that every year.
Right.
Also, I know we've talked in the past about our zoning regulations related to utilities, the whole issue of data centers. That seems to be an issue on the horizon. I think one of the concerns I've read is about, and I don't know what impact our regulations could have, but people's electrical rates going up.
Well, right now data centers they're going through an engineering process. The way the system started is much different than they are today, and I expect that you're going to see a very quick evolution on how they run data centers and their impacts to address things like you're talking about on local utilities. Do I think we need to react to that from a regulatory standpoint right now? I don't think it's here yet. I think we need to find out what the final design is going to be moving forward, what is the general data center design, then I think we can react to it. Until that time, I don't think you're doing well.
So when we get a data center proposal on the table, right now we don't have any specific regulations.
We do not.
So what is going to guide? I mean, if we don't, my thought process is maybe we should get some regulations in place before we consider it. But if we don't have regulations in place, what's going to guide our decision making?
Well, namely, what would guide that decision-making process, I would think, would be utility allocation in particular areas. You can't plop a data center on every corner. You're going to have some specific criteria in the area that a center is proposed. Then you would want to weigh their design against what you have on the site. Most of that would end up in a development agreement. Likely it would end up in a development plan. So you have things that you can react to whatever is proposed to today. Are they data center specific? No, they're not. Do you necessarily need data center specific regulations? I don't know that you do at this particular time because there's an evolution in that design for those centers going on across the entire United States. How they cool, how they power, what their footprint is, it's too variable to accommodate a singular section of regulations, in my opinion.
Although there are model regulations out there.
And they vary wildly. Yes, there are some that are reactionary, in my opinion. But yes, there are some that exist out there right now.
So if, for instance, if we get one proposal at this moment, the way our regulations are, it would be considered totally separately from another proposal, perhaps not even having the same type of standards for the
depending on the design.
One SUP can be totally different than another SUP.
Every data center can be different. The footprint can be different, and the requirements for it can be different. So yes, to answer your question, it would be considered independently. And do you have the tools to address that currently? Yeah, you have them in your regulations. They could accommodate.
So the only concern I have is that if we have, say, in the next 2 or 3 years, multiple data center applications, I think each one should be treated equally.
I think that's the logical way to address that, again, because the energy component, the design component, the cooling component is going to vary from center to center. Ideally, with a regulation, you're dealing with a similarly designed unit that you're trying to regulate throughout an entire county. From what I'm seeing from data centers, their design and footprint vary wildly. So you have to assess what you have on site before you can accommodate a regulation.
So I would, and when we get all the commissioners here, I think we probably should talk about this, but I would think at some point we should have a work session on this whole data center issue.
Okay.
Commissioners, the challenge, and I think that's what John is saying, is you have, just in the metro area, you have data centers that vary from reutilizing existing buildings that are like 20,000 square feet to brand new construction, which is over 1 million square feet. You can't have one set of regulations for those two things. So that's why we have SUPs, that's why we have conditional permitting, so that you can deal with it on an individual basis as they come forward. I think John did a good job pointing out the electricity component, the water, the natural gas, all those things come into play. So I don't know how you could get one set of standards that would cover all of the potential scenarios. So I think these are right now, as they come to us, we need to address them. And if the system changes where these are package deals where they just come and plop them down in cargo boxes, that would differ. But right now, we just because they're new, one, and because they vary widely in what their components are, I think it'd be tough for us to have one set of standards to address every possible scenario.
So the danger you run into with excessive regulation is you can't accommodate different types of design. A lot of times you will isolate to a singular point, which in my view is never a good idea. So as Mark said, with the varying points of contact here with the data center design, you need to be able to react independently to each middle.
I think we need to, as this evolves, I think we need to consider having a work session to talk about it and get some folks in here that have expertise in this area as far as they've been involved in data centers and at least hear what other communities have done.
Sure. No, I totally understand. I went recently to a data center summit that was the first annual summit in Kansas City that had people from across the nation and across the world that posed these same questions. And the reaction to the question is exactly what I just told you. If there's varying in design, it's extremely hard to regulate in a singular pattern. Now, some large cities, say on the West Coast, have designed corridors for data centers. But in designing that corridor, all of the utility elements were considered prior to a single piece of construction being put in place. So it made sense for them to create a corridor and a regulation for that specific area. We're in a different area of the country. We have different means of supply for those utilities, which are the critical key component. So as far as a work session, sure, absolutely we can put something together for the commission. But again, I would caution over-regulation, not being able to react to the submittals being put before you.
I think people just want information. They really
Sure.
want.
Understood.
So I don't know how the rest of you feel about that. But, maybe we can discuss it when everybody's
I think
here.
it's time to discuss when we have a work session, because going at it now is just futile.
Right. So is that
Yeah, I'm fine.
okay with you?
I just want to make sure that, there are some things in data centers that I've been doing some homework. They're not all the enemy of an area.
Right.
So, there's some things that really value a county, especially someone like Leavenworth County. But at the same time, I understand your point, Mike, about I'd like more information on the pros and the cons on these things to get a good look at it.
So could we get that set up in the next month or so?
We'll look into it.
Yeah, sounds good, Mike.
All right. Any other questions for John?
I don't know. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Made it easy on you.
I appreciate it.
Kind of.
All right. We do not need an executive session. Do the commissioners have anything to present?
I got just a couple, Mike,
Okay.
if I could. Sure. Attended the LCDC meeting last Friday. I know you got called into work at the last second. I appreciate you
I
letting
had
me
my
know.
suit on.
I know. Largest one I think they've had ever. Well attended. Just a fabulous presentation, and got to met with a lot of people. Lisa and Mary really and the staff did a real good job of setting that up, and it was just very well done. The other thing is I attended the Port Authority meeting yesterday, and they're still trying to figure out ways to fund the LCDs and things like that. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn because it's an open meeting, but they had talked about having a vote, a 1% or whatever it was going to be to voting to see if the taxpayers would vote on that to help fund LCDC. After discussing it yesterday, it was decided that they're not going to do that this coming year. I told them right now, people, look, no matter what kind of tax it is, a tax is a tax, and people don't break it down. I think until we get this property tax issue fixed or at least addressed, I think it'll be wasting money. So we voted not to spend another $30,000 to keep this going, but to bring it back next year and take a look at it.
Sure do.
Thank you very much for getting that done. Got invitation yesterday from individuals from the National NACO to come to Topeka on Workman's Day next Wednesday at 1:30. And the difference is that we've been sending individual to Topeka as legislators, and they're voting on county business, and they wanted to know our thoughts of whether that's backwards or not. And it's my thought that I think before you serve as a legislator, in my opinion, I think you should have some awareness of what county business is and what you can do to make it better.
Yeah.
There were some votes that I took when I was there that I have some concerns about, because I did not know what county business entailed and how those things work. So I'll be going there next week and seeing if we can't make some headway with some legislators. I think that one of the biggest things that we have done is, and it's not really a good thing, is we've put individuals in that position just by voting them in because they're Ds or because they're Rs, and not because of having any workings or knowledge of what county business is, and that has hurt us and other counties in Kansas.
I agree.
Very good. That'll be good.
And that's my platform for today.
So I have a KCATA Finance Committee meeting at 1, and then I have a KCATA safety meeting. We're working on safety on the buses, trying to make it so your grandma and your mom would want to ride the city buses. Right now, a lot of people aren't feeling too safe on some of our buses. So that's the issues I'll be on today. And is there any further comments? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Bodie?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Work session.
Remind the commission that 11 o'clock there's a work session scheduled.
Work session.